Hello, it's Barry, and you're watching Barry and the PI. Well, today's video is going to be about another story of my past. I wasn't, uh, I wasn't the best student in school. In the elementary school, my first grade, uh, we had to take a nap on the top of our desk uh, after we eat lunch. And we did a minute. And so the teacher, we got all on our desk, and the teacher left to go teacher's meeting or whatever. And there was a little fat kid. He rolled off his desk, and he started crying. And I decided that, well, I'll cheer him up or something, because he's going to get us in trouble if the teacher finds him if we're crying. And so I went over there and started making funny faces and trying to help the kid. And right about that time, the teacher walks in. Yep, I got in trouble with teacher. Had to go to the principal's office. The principal lived right across the street from us, so I knew him very well. He was a good guy. He taught there for over 20 years. He was principal there for over 20 years. Uh, so I didn't really get in trouble that much. But that started out my school, primary school. Some other things that happened during elementary school was my mother wanted to sign me up for dance and tumbling classes with Reed Duval School of Dance. The only dance school in Austin, I think, at that time. And Miss Duval was an old lady then. I think she had danced on Broadway or whatever, you know. So I took tap dancing, which I liked, which was a very popular form of dance back in those days, the 1940s, and ballet and tumbling. I was pretty good at tumbling. I got to where I could do a standing black flip. And, you know, so, and I did good. I was good, pretty good at dancing and tumbling. And, God, you think about, man, I should have kept that up. As I got older, you know, most of the guys in ballet, they're not interested in girls, but I was, and I thought when I was at high school, I said, damn, I wish I'd have kept that up. I mean, then pick those girls up and put them hold them up with my hand on their ass. That would have been a dream, a teenage dream. But my father made me quit those. He didn't think that was manly enough for his son, I guess. I don't know. Or he just didn't want to spend the money. So got through elementary school and went to junior high. It was brand new. It was Lamar Junior High. I think it was the first year it was open. And I had a principal that was, talk about conservative, he's just to the right of Adolf Hitler, I think. I didn't get along too well with him. I did just childish stuff, you know, like we had a walkway between two buildings, and one day I walking by there and I just flipped light switch on and off and on and off like that. You know, he got me. Called me into the principal's office, told me I was on my way to being a juvenile delinquent. And then at the ninth grade, by then I had my driver's license at the age of 14. The reason why I was able to get that is because I also had to transport my brother around. I had to take him to the high school, I think, at that time. So I was allowed to get my driver's license. Well, I drove to school every day, and I parked outside the teacher's parking lot along the curb. And one afternoon, I got in my car, backed up, and was pulling out, and here comes the teacher, bam, right into my front fender. And so I was pissed off about that. This teacher was a real mousy little old thing, probably never had sex, sexually frustrated old lady. No, she wasn't old, she was young. But boy, did they give me hell. My father was going to fight that ticket, and he was threatening to sue the teacher, and all it did is make me public enemy number one with the principal and the teachers. And they had it battled out, and I finally graduated from that, and glad to get away from that school and that principal. So I went on to McCallum High School, and I didn't have any problems there, except that I was just bored as hell, and I was about ready to run away from home and go join Castro's forces up in the mountains. Instead of Che Guevara's picture, you could have had my picture. El Barri, defender of the nation. But so I didn't. So instead of doing that, I joined the Navy, and I took off for San Diego for basic training, and I didn't like basic training at all. And the drill sergeant, well, what the equivalent of a drill sergeant, I didn't like him. I thought he was corrupt and was cheating us out of money. That's another. Later on, I found out he did. They came, the adjutant general came and took my deposition about, he was found of collecting money for us to buy a washing machine. And he did that to every group that he had. So he was selling the washing machines, pocketing it, and then getting us to buy, or his recruits to buy a new washing machine for our squadron. So, so after I got out of the Navy, I came back to Austin, and I had taken the SAT exam and scored high enough to get accepted into the University of Texas. Then I got involved a lot with on-campus politics and stuff. Uh, I worked in some campaigns and stuff. I wasn't the best student, except in the classes that I liked and the teachers that I liked. I did well in those, but not in some other stuff that I had to take. Uh, and I really didn't become a good student until after I dropped out of the school and worked a little bit, and then I went back and I did very well. I had a 3.0 GPA, and so I did good. I got my teaching certification. I took the social studies generic, which is a very difficult because it covers over 4 different subjects: government, history, economics, and geography. I aced the geography part of it and the government part and the history part. I got about 76 on the economics part. And so I had 4 different subjects I could teach. And I also took the earth science and astronomy. I had taken those courses before, and I aced those. So I had, let's see, I had 8 different subjects I was qualified to teach. Anthropology and earth science and astronomy, and then I did special ed, and I got special ed certification, which that's what everybody wanted me to teach, because it's hard to find a special ed teacher that's qualified. And now towards the end, they would give special ed teachers a $5,000 bonus, so that was good. As I said, I taught down on the Texas-Mexico border. All my students were Hispanic or Mexican, except for our good-sized group of them that were Kickapoo Indians. They were giving back their reservation down there, and now they've got casinos and making money, I guess. So it took me about 25 before I really took education seriously and really worked hard at it. And I also worked as an archaeologist after I got my degree, and I did projects around Texas and around Austin. And my boss, who was also had been one of my instructors in my field school, archaeological field school, and he had hired me. I was the only one without a master's degree, and so if I wanted to lead the projects, he said, you need to go get your master's. And so I did, but I had also entered graduate school at University of Texas, San Antonio, and I was in their graduate program, and I got a job offer from the federal government with the U.S. Air Force as a production management specialist trainee. And so I did 2 years training and became GS9, and I was also named Employee of the Month 1 month, and I got GS11, promoted to GS11 the next year. Within 3 years, I made GS. Went from GS5 to GS11. And I should have stayed there. Also, excuse me. Because I was very good at it. But I just didn't like doing that. I would have rather been out digging up stuff. So I decided I was going to become a teacher. So I went back to school, quit the federal job, and went back to high school and got my teacher certification. Went back to college. And one of the first school districts I applied at was a small school in the Texas Hill Country. And I sent my resume and everything to them, and I got a call from the superintendent and said, "You sure you want to teach here?" I said, "You're well overqualified for teaching in our little school district." So I decided not to go there, and ended up at Eagle Pass Independent School District, and I was well liked by the students, maybe not so much by the administration, but the students always liked me. So that's it. I've rambled on. That's another part of my life. I wouldn't change anything, I don't think. I've lived it the way I wanted to, not the way everybody else wanted me to. It's been a good life. It's been a long life. A lot longer than I expected, but I'm keeping on going. I hope I make some few more years. I hope I make it to 100. That would be good. So I've taken up enough of your time. I hope you enjoyed this little story, and I hope you laughed a little bit. That's what I try to do is get somebody to laugh, and I'm doing all right. So take care. Take care of your family, your kids, your pets, and yourself. And we'll see you again maybe tomorrow. All right, Barry's out.